Hey everybody, and welcome back to another episode of Air Hauler 2 with me, you heard 37. So it's been a few years since I've made any videos, and really since I've done any flying, so I've decided to come back and stick with Air Hauler 2. It's basically the same program that it's always been. Of course, the sim this time is going to be completely different, because we've finally left FSX behind, and we're with Microsoft Flight Simulator. And so since Air Hauler 2 really hasn't changed at all, I'm not going to, go through a whole review of exactly what Air Hauler 2 is. If you really want to know what that is, there's some other videos. Also, you can look at my old videos to see exactly what Air Hauler 2 is all about. So with that, we're going to go ahead and set up our new company right here. So of course, we're going to be flying with Microsoft Flight Simulator 2020. So the company name, we're going to go back, I think this was ours before, YT Air. So pilot names or handle is going to be MUHeard37, just like it always was. And I'll put MUHeard37 as my name as well. Alright, so choose the difficulty. I was actually wanted to do Nomad. I was actually trying this out last week. The only problem with Nomad, because it is the hardest, but then you can't hire other pilots, you can't have bases and stuff like that. So it's kind of a no-go for me, because I really do want to have, build up a huge company, different bases and pilots and stuff like that. So we're going to select career. So we're going to start out with just $100,000, 20% rep, which is extremely low. That's got to be built up big time, to have other pilots and stuff. And I think to get loans as well. And we're also going to start off with the Cessna C-172 with the G-1000. All right, so starting our base location. I have several sceneries bought so far right now. But the one I kind of want to use is actually somewhere where you probably don't even know. It's KCRW. That is Yeager Airport in Charleston, West Virginia. I thought about going back to Tri-State Huntington KHTS. That was always our home base for everything. But I've got scenery for this for Orbx, and I'm really surprised that they actually made KCRW Yeager Airport. But we're going to go ahead and go with that. So click through there. So job volume, I obviously want as many jobs to show up as we can. Now distance, this is all, by the way, you can go back later and redo all this. I don't want the jobs to be too far. I mean, we're just flying a little Cessna, so I don't want to have to go too far. Size, you don't want to make it too big because we can only carry so much cargo, so I don't want them to be too big. Internal jobs, as many as we can get. And airport size, for me, it really doesn't matter. I like kind of flying into smaller airports with the Cessna. It's a little more fun than these huge airports, so I'll put it right around the middle. And we're ready to go. So we are going to have to do a check ride, I think, as you just saw. And before we do that, I do want to touch on one thing. I've built a completely new system, because I keep getting questions about that kind of stuff, the new system and everything. So I've got an i9 12900. The motherboard is an Asus Maximus Z690 Extreme. My video card is the EVGA 3080 Ti for the Win 3. I've got 32 gigs of DDR5 memory. I have two NVMe drives. They're the Samsung 980s. 1 terabyte for the operating system, and I think recording as well. Then I've got a 2 terabyte one for the games and stuff. Also for the monitor, and this has been a killer. So I ended up getting a Samsung 49-inch Odyssey G9 Neo. And the problem is, this is one of those ultra-wides or super ultra-wide. It's 5120 by 1440. And this has made trying to record damn near as hard as possible. So the only way I'm doing this is, as you can see, I've got OBS. And that's about the only way I can get this thing to actually record. And it's taxing the heck out of the GPU, because I am using the GPU to record it, and obviously also to play the game. That'll also be one problem when we do our check ride. The only time this is going to be a problem is when we do the check ride. And I'll show you that here in just a minute. So we are going to go ahead and do this. We are in the C-172, $329 for our check ride. Alright, so we obviously don't have any luggage or anything. It says we've already got fuel, as I think we're full actually, so we don't have to mess with any of that. And so we'll go ahead and give it a go. Now, there is one problem. In FSX, when we do the check ride, it would flash up on the screen the directions, like go to a certain heading and a certain altitude and stuff like that. Well, this no longer does that. It doesn't flash up on the screen, so it will be a little odd sometimes. I'm going to have to pause the sim. I'll try to cut this out, but I'll go ahead and pause the sim, come back over to this. Can't remember. I think it lists it right here. I'll find the heading and the altitude, everything, and then I'll get back to flying. But I'll try to cut that out because who wants to see it going back and forth? But we'll give her a go. So with that, let's go ahead and move on over to the plane. Alright everybody, here we are in the cockpit. I have one other problem, and this I didn't notice this last week when I was trying this out, but look at that tearing. It's right on the pillars. It only seems to happen mostly on the pillars. I can see a little bit on the headrest, but on these pillars, especially right here, this wasn't doing this before, and I've noticed this today, and I do not know how to get rid of that. I've tried turning on G-Sync, trying to lock the frame rate and all kinds of stuff, and it just looks terrible. I don't know why that's doing that. So if you all have any ideas, you can go ahead and shoot me a message. Alright, so we'll go ahead and start this thing up. I'm not going to even try to do this thing professionally like we used to try to do. Parking brake is set. Beacon, nav coming on. Well, after we turn the battery on. So we'll turn off this warning that we're going to get here in just a second.
Oral warning, okay.
Alright, we'll go ahead and hit the fuel pump. Open up the throttle a little bit. Fuel pump can go off. And we'll go ahead and start her on up. Alright, so we'll go ahead and turn on our avionics. You see the buttons, it's kind of got a weird too. I'm not sure. I think that was always doing that though.
Okay.
Alright, so we'll go ahead and get this set up the way I want it. We'll turn off this little inset. Alright, actually, let me go back down there and toggle on our taxi light. And we'll taxi right on over to the runway. Parking brake coming off. I believe our runway is right here. I was trying to set stuff up earlier. See, you hear the ding, and it's going to give you instructions, but I have to go over to switch over back to the program to see what it says. But I know right now it's just saying take off, and it'll give me instructions here in a little bit, so I'm not going to have to go over just yet. Tag on, I thought we could hit the runway over from our right, but I didn't see any taxiway going over there. So I'm not sure exactly where we're going to be on this runway. I don't want to be too far out. I was trying to set this up earlier, and I had actually started from a different location. I remember coming down by this. I should have actually kept it in the same location. There's actually a Marshall flight school, which is kind of cool. I actually went to Marshall University down in Huntington. It's kind of cool that they do have a flight school up here in Charleston. I'm surprised they don't have it down in Huntington. I guess it's because this is a much bigger airport, maybe? Alright, so I think we're going to have to taxi down to our left a little bit. I mean, we could maybe take off right there, but we're not going to have I don't know that we're going to have enough room. So we're going to take off on runway 5. Now, one kind of cool thing about this airport, it's actually supposed to be an extremely hard airport to land at. It's literally sitting on top of a hill. So you basically bring in your plane, the bigger planes obviously, and basically just drop it onto the runway. It's supposed to be an extremely more difficult airport to land at. And for me, it's kind of cool. This is actually the first airport I ever flew out of. The first time I ever on a plane was actually out of here. Somewhere down in Florida. We went to Disney World. Probably to Orlando, the flight. Airport elevation is about 947 degrees. It literally sits on a hill right up above I-64. It's kind of crazy. Used to drive by it all the time. And if we're taking off on runway 5, there's 5 and 23. I believe 5 is 55 degrees. So let's set that up here in just a second. There used to be actually 2 runways. There's one perpendicular to this. I believe a few years ago they started taking that out. I'm not sure exactly why. I'm not sure if they just took it out or converted it to taxiways or what they did. But I'm surprised they did that. You know, down in Huntington, they did the same thing. They had a very short runway perpendicular to the main one. And they took it out as well. You'd think you'd want a perpendicular one just because of wind. But apparently not. Alright, so coming down here, I'm going to go ahead and put my heading here at 055. There we go. I don't see anyone down here on the runways. Go ahead and let me get rid of this. Whoa. Gotta get used to these buttons. I have almost no... I think I've got like 1 hour in Microsoft Flight Simulator, so I'm actually pretty daggone new to this sim. Landing lights and strobe coming on. Make sure that put us at 2. Let me make sure there we got 1 notch of flaps. Let's go ahead and get on the runway. We'll get on out of here. Move that over to GPS as well. I think you can't actually use the autopilot. Air Hauler 2 in a check ride, I do believe it will ding you. Actually, I don't think it'll ding you. I think it'll actually outright fail you. Alright, we'll do our rolling takeoff here. Alright, off we go for our check ride. Like I say, I've got less than an hour in this sim, so don't crush me on the flying too much. We got to get better. I was never happy with FSX. I always thought I should be better, and I just never really got that much better. Alright, 65 degrees. Go ahead and try and get her up. Alright, we at least did get airborne without too much of a struggle. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get the flaps up. And here in just a minute, Air Hauler will ding and tell us what we need to do. So I'll go ahead and flip over to it real quick. Be right back. Alright, so our instructions are to go up to 4,100 feet. I unpaused it and the sim just wanted to go straight down to the ground, didn't it? Go off, and I believe that is our taxi light. I'll make sure. I don't know that you actually have to turn that off. This small plane, but I'll go ahead and do it. Let's see if I can trim this out. That's always one thing I've always struggled out, is trimming out the airplane. It's almost like everything is too sensitive for me. I hit like 1 notch up, the nose comes flying up. I hit 1 notch down, we go flying down. I'm going to pull back on the power a little bit too. I was hoping for at least 700 feet a minute seat, and then just look at the nose go flying up. I don't know why I've always found that it's so daggone tough. The only thing about taking off on runway 5, see, we're actually going out into the middle of nowhere. I mean, much of West Virginia is out into the middle of nowhere, but you know what I mean. If you actually take off on 23, you go over the hill, and you actually go over the downtown area and the river and everything. So at least there's a little more scenery taking off from the other direction. Not that there was ever any scenery over there at Huntington. It was actually kind of a tough decision. Like, do I leave Huntington That was always our base. And come up here to Charleston or what? There's another airport I thought about using, Orbx. I can't remember. I think it's out in like Western California or Western Nevada. I can't remember. It's like KCBE or KCBY. This little airport, man, it looks so great. So I thought about buying it and making it our base, but I couldn't believe they made Charleston. Out of all the airports that they're making, they made Charleston, West Virginia. I thought that was crazy. Alright, so we got about, what, 950 feet to go? And they got us going way up to 4,100. I was trying this out, you know, like I say, about a week or so ago, and I think the highest they ever got us was like 3,100 feet. Got some traffic out there in front. Actually, we got another plane as well. Alright, a little under 600 feet to go. Our airspeed is dropping down a little. Go ahead and give her just a little more power. We're just at the edge of the green over there. On our RPMs. 400 feet. So it'll be interesting to see how this video comes out as well. With that resolution, you know, on my screen it'll probably look normal, but for you all, you'll probably get some black bars and everything. I'm not totally sure though. Because, you know, when I try it out, some of these tests, it comes out normal for me because of my monitor with the resolution. Let's see what happens. Got 100 feet to go. Bring back the power just a little bit. Get that nose down. 30 feet to go. Right there at 4,100. She didn't give us nothing. There it went. See, we had to actually get a little bit higher for it to actually recognize. Alright, so I'll pause it. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. So, we are rolling out to heading 226. Just before we do that, go ahead and set it. I like setting it here first. Oh, we had a little jitter. .226, and we're climbing a little high, so we're going to be at 4,100 feet again. See, I'm texting out the GPU. We running 100% playing this game on the GPU by itself. Then, like I'm saying, we're recording it H265 video with the NV encoder on the card itself as well. Come on, nose. Nose is still trying to get up on me. I'll pull back on the power a little bit. No help. See, now we are so far away from the airport. We've got to get that nose down. 120 feet too high. Oh, well, see, it recognized us. It gave us, said we're good right there. Alright, so I'll pause. Be right back. Alright, I'm back. And now we are going to 129. I think I should have gone the other way there. A little quicker. I guess that's the airport out to our left. Yeah, I really should have gone out the other way with this mouse. 129 at 4,100 feet. Alright. Rolling left. Add more power. We're getting a little slow. Man, those shadows and stuff are just crazy. I got that shadow on the pillar, and I actually looked back in my room like, is there someone in my freaking room? I saw that shadow. That's nuts. This sim is just crazy. Alright. That gave it to us. Be right back. Alright. We are going 158 to 5,000 feet. here we go. I need to actually enlarge that. I probably wouldn't be able to get back if I didn't have that. Although I think we did actually see it a little bit ago. Alright, so I'm going up on the power. 158 at 5,000. I do believe this is probably our last instruction. We can come back and land at the airport. You know what's cool? When I was testing this out on the check ride last time, it didn't get the stutters. If you remember Air Hauler 2, for whatever reason, when we would try to land, it would freeze up and give us like jitters right at the end. It always used to screw everything up. But I was trying this out last week and it worked perfectly, so that's a plus. Alright, we're coming up on our heading. We've got about 170 feet to go. 100 feet to go. Oh. I guess she says we're close enough. We're a little close to the airport to try and land right now. So let me check and make sure we got to land. Be right back. Alright, everybody. We are, in fact, ready to land. So we have to get an okay landing or better for it to count. We've got a plane out here in front of us. I don't know if they're going to be coming in to land or what they're doing. Now, we're not going to go straight in either. We're going to do a little fly by the airport. Yeah, see. See, we can't really be cutting in front of the runway. But Air Hauler had us up here janking around. So I'll call it not really my fault. Because we're going to go back in front of any plane taking off. That kind of sucks. And we got all kinds of traffic all of a sudden. We got 3 of them around here. So I set it up for clear skies because it does. I've noticed it gets bumpy, man. So I set it to clear skies, but I left real traffic on. I don't think Yeager International, or West Virginia International Yeager, I think is what they actually call it. I don't think that's, a really, really busy airport. In fact, I know it's not real busy, but I don't know how much they do on a normal day. I'm sure it's a hell of a lot more than Huntington was. I'm going to get this to 055. There we go. There are. We need to get a little further out. That's an awful tight turn if we tried right now. I'm sorry, but I'm not very well set up right here. Our altitude's pretty good at 2,500 feet. Airport elevation, I think, is like 950. So I don't really want to get much lower. I'm trying to bring that nose up. She's wanting to sink. Now see, I go with the trim and it goes nuts. Come on, don't get too low on me. Like I said, I need to get further away, and we're still too close. As you can see the scenery here, like I said, if you take off on 23, I should go out over the city more. There's a little bit more to see. Heck, we went off on 5, and there was nothing out there, was there? That nose just keeps wanting to drop. We're gonna end up getting a little too low. You can see where it kind of dusts on the trees as it is. I'm actually going to let her climb just a little bit. So we're below 80 knots. We are in the white. I'm going to go ahead and put a notch of flaps out. Let's see. Yeah, we are nowhere close to being able to turn. So we're going to have to at least go out on the other side of the river to have any real good shot at it. I don't want to get too slow either. That is I-64 down below us. That bridge. I have been over that bridge I don't know how many times traveling. I don't know why, but in Charleston they lowered the freaking speed limit, man. You come in at 70 miles an hour. Lost my connection. That's odd. Haven't had that happen yet. But you come in flying in at 70 miles an hour and they lower it to 55. It's like, what the heck? What the heck? That's way too slow for me. Alright, so let's turn to the airport. Hopefully we have gone out far enough. I am going to have to make a bit of a tight turn. Okay, successfully connected. I'm happy for you. Watch that speed. We're getting our nose down too much. Once you know it, we actually went too far to the right. Are you kidding me? Second notch of flaps. So much for, you know, making a nice approach. And first flight back, baby. I can't tell, but I think we're slightly high. There's still a lot of traffic in the area, really. Alright, we're going full flaps. Pause for 1 second. Alright, had to get my flight recorders set up and going. Coming in not too bad. We're a little fast, but also a little high, so I gotta get that nose down. Like I said, we gotta get it okay or better. Getting there a little fast.
500. Minimums. 100. 50. 40. 30. 20.
Off the power.
10.
So we will have to await air hauler's verdict. Didn't seem too bad. It wasn't the typical MU Herd 37 flare to the max, almost tail strike that I have to end up doing so much. You see, that's the thing. Air hauler, it doesn't talk to us right here, so we don't know if we actually passed. I would say I passed. If you're seeing this, we must have passed. I don't want to make this video and then fail and just say, okay, we'll make another video, make you watch through that as well, doing the same thing. We'll pull over here to the ramp. Alright, stop her right here. Taxi light coming off. The strobe and the landing lights go off. I believe I had put that on and took it off parking brake. Yeah, I don't see anybody around. I don't see any remnants of the old runway. Like I said, it was perpendicular with 523. So come over here. That is those planes right there. The West Virginia National Guard flies out of here. Apparently, they're supposed to be like an elite National Guard unit. The Air Force. I believe it's the Air Force. And one thing cool about this, man, that where it kills FSX is the elevations, man. Going up and down, FSX had to be like perfectly flat and everything. This doesn't. It's so awesome. Have, realistic runways where they slope and everything. It's amazing. So I'm not sure exactly where we're supposed to park this thing. I'll tell you where we are going to park it. God, every time that shadow pops up, it freaks me out for a second. We're going to come over here and park it right here. I have no idea if we got close there, but I hope we did. Park brake coming on. And we'll go ahead and shut this thing off. Go ahead and turn my text light off. Avionics off. Cut the fuel. Beacon and nav. Oh, congratulations. You passed the flight test. Awesome. Go ahead and shut this off. So initial climb we passed. General handling we passed. Landing result was good. Correct airport. That's a plus, isn't it? Landing gear, no overspeed, bank angle, pitch angle, and no stall. I wonder if it'll give me my landing stats when I go back over. Nav is off. The key is off. Let's go back on over to Air Hauler. Alright everybody, we're back over here in Air Hauler. Okay, it says everything, this concludes the flight. We passed. Okay, so we can finish that flight monitoring. Oh, landing. That's what I wanted to see, was that landing performance. It said it was smooth. Let's see. So our landing speed was 57 knots. Came down to 100 feet. That was our vertical speed. Landing pitch. I want to actually see the replay. I'm going to try. I think the recorder got it, so I'm going to try and make a replay. It felt like a pretty good landing, which is odd for us. But yeah. So there we are. That icon looks so weird stretched out on the screen. But boom, here we are. See, I did this last weekend. We had there's like one or two jobs that came up right after I flew. I mean, we got all kinds of jobs to choose from. Heck yeah. It looks like a lot of them are going to fit. Man, they don't pay anything. We're starting back from scratch, man, episode 1. But hey, it feels pretty good, man. Hopefully we can get back in the group of everything. I just got burned out, man. I was flying Air Hauler 2, FS Passengers, FS Economy, and I was just flying way too much. I changed jobs, and I just got burned out from flying. So getting back into the new sim, man, it feels pretty good. And, well, that's going to be it for this episode, everybody. Hope you all did enjoy it. I'll catch you guys on the next flight.